for this semester is different. The poem La Bella Dame Sans Mercy, it consists of 12 stanzas. Be attentive. The poem La Bella Dame Sans Mercy, which is written by John Keats, a younger romantic poet in English literature, which is written by him. That is the La Bella Dame Sans Mercy. It is written by John Keats. The poem consists of 12 stanzas. The poem has been divided into two segments. Okay, the poem has been divided into two segments. First three stanzas, they are the question asked by an unknown person or an unknown speaker or a poet. Okay, the first three stanzas are the question asked by an unknown man or an unknown person or a speaker, and rest the nine stanzas are the answers given by the knight or the king. Here in the whole poem, there are three main important characters. In the whole poem, there are three main important characters. The first character is the speaker or the poet or the unknown man. The first character is the speaker, the poet, or the unknown man. The second character is the knight or the king. Okay, Knight. This knight means the king. Okay, the second character is the knight or the king, and the third character is the beautiful lady without mercy. The third character is the beautiful lady without mercy. See, the poem La Bella Dame Sans Mercy is consist of three important characters. First one is the speaker or the unknown person who interrogates or who asks the question to the knight. The second person is the knight, and the third person is the beautiful lady without mercy. Okay, see, I will also sum up the summary now. A knight or the king, he was wandering from here and there, means one place to other place. So when he was going through the forest, he had fallen in love with a beautiful lady. Okay, and he also explains her beauty in the stanzas. We will go with the stanzas. And when he had fallen in love or he was very attractive towards her beauty, he makes her garland, he keeps bracelets for her, and he also makes her to wear the waistland, means, that is kamarbandi, what we say in colloquial language. And he creates a zone of fragrance. Okay, that was the zone of fragrance. And in return, she gives him and she releases him with the sweet roots like the sweet potato and some things which they get in the forest. Okay, and later she invites him to the elfin grotto. Elfin grotto is a very mysterious and a very suspensive cave. Okay, that only the mysterious lady knew it. Just a second. That the mysterious lady knew it. Okay, so he makes that night he had a horse. Okay, so on horse he makes her to ride from they went on riding, horse riding, and after that she invites him to the cave, a mysterious or a suspensive cave, and she cries a little, and we don't know what's the reason behind her cries, okay, or the tears. And without controlling himself, this man, that is knight, to soothe her, he kisses on her lips for 4 times. Okay, and after that they had a very pleasurable sex or the romantic time. And in return, as a token of love or a token of gratitude, she sings a lullaby or a sleepy songs for him. Okay, and when she sings a lullaby or a sleepy song for him, he was asleep, means he completely sleeps there. And in the sleep, okay, he had a nightmare. Okay, nightmare means a bad dream. So in the bad dream or in the nightmare, he met with many of the kings, many of the knights, and many of the prince, and also the warriors, great warriors. See, in the nightmare or in the dream, he meets many kings, many great warriors, and many prince. Okay, so who are physically fit and fine, he meets them, and all of them, they when they look at this man, that is knight. Okay, when they look at this knight, okay, they scream in union. Okay, in one voice or in one tone, they scream a lot, saying that La Bella Dame Sans Mercy, thy hath in troll. Okay, they scream one sentence, it is important. Okay, this is the 39th line in your poem. Okay, it comes in the 10th stanza. The line which I'm quoting now, it comes in the 10th stanza, and that is the 39th line. So what they scream in the union, all the princes, all the warriors, all the kings, all the knights who all have been cheated by the women, okay, and they have kept as enslaved. They all have become workers, or they all have become enslaved, and they were kept, or they were isolated, or they were imprisoned in elfin grot, or a mysterious, a magical cave. And when they see the new addition of this knight to their group in the union, they scream a lot, saying that La bella dame sans mercy, thee hath enthrall. Thee hath enthrall means thee means you. Okay, Thee means you. Hath, 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 it is an archaic or an old English term for have or has. Okay, and in is in, thrall means control of somebody's, a person. Okay, you are in control of somebody's. Okay, so here they say that, see, we all have cheated and we made ourselves foolish by the beauty of that merciless lady, and she has enslaved us here. And La bella dame sans mercy, thee hath enthrall. You also have been under her control. They tell this to them. And when he listens to these words, he immediately wakes up and he looks around his atmosphere. He was in the cold hillside, and there he meets with this unknown speaker or the unknown person. And this unknown speaker and unknown person, he asks him the question that, why are you wandering here and there very lonely, very palely? Okay, I could sense that in your internal heart you are suffering from an internal pain, but I cannot recognize what pain it is, but I can sense that you are facing an internal pain. What is the pain it is? Okay, so he asked, okay, with the multiple questions, by comparing himself with the multiple elements in the nature or the beauty of the nature. Later, the rest answer what the poet gives, okay, what the speaker gives, or what the knight gives, is consisted in all the 9 stanzas. So in the last class, I have dealt with 2 stanzas. I repeat it once again, and we shall move up with the next stanza. Are you understanding what I am saying? I have repeated for the sake of your convenience. Are you all there? Are you understanding it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, be loud.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Stanza first. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, alone and palely loitering? The sedge has withered from the lake, and no birds sing. Here in the first stanza, the poet or the speaker or the unknown person, okay, he comes into the contact of this knight. The knight was wandering from here and there, hither and thither, means here and there, hither and thither, very lonely, okay, and with the pale face, means with the bad face, with the sober face, he was wandering from one place to another place. So here in the stanza first, the poet asks to the knight that, what can ail thee? Okay, ail means, okay, what the internal pain you have, okay, the pain of your internal heart. Okay, what can internal pain you have? Thee means you. Okay, knight at arms, what internal pain you have? Knight at arms, this is a phrasal verb. Remember, knight at arms is a phrasal verb, which means that a person who always renders his service exclusively for women. Okay, a person who always renders his service exclusively for women. He never helps to any man. He helps only to women. Okay. So knight at arms, who always you help only for women. Okay, you are suffering from one of the problem. I could recognize on your face that you are suffering from the problem, but I can't, dig it. What problem exactly it is? Okay, and you were wandering alone and palely loitering. The sedge has withered from the lake, and no birds is singing. The sedge means the green grass or the flower. Okay, so that has withered, that has lost, even that is not there beside the lake, and no birds are singing. Okay, so the birds they cheer up or they sing only when there is the green grass, and they get be attracted by the green grass. Okay, but now the king, or the night, he is all alone, and there is no mood, or there is no such kind of a romantic or an attractive atmosphere in the outside or the in the environment that he could sing a song or he could spend a romantic time outside. It was a worst time where the western country or the western land is facing the loneliness, because in the winter season no one could go outside. So everyone like how we are facing the lockdown here, in the same way the western country people, they are in the lockdown when they have the winter season, because there will be the heavy snowfall in the western countries. They never let themselves to go out. Okay, so here the poet has been asked, sorry, the knight has been asked by the king, by the poet, like, why you are so sad. Okay, so here the sedge and no birds are singing. These indicates that the grief, the sorrow, the solitude of the winter season. This is there in the stanza first, and in the stanza second, again the interrogation goes on. Just a second, I just changed the slide. Okay, stanza second. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms, so haggard and so begone? The squire's granary is full, and the harvest is done. Oh, what can ail thee, knight at arms? Again, what's making you to have the internal pain? What is your internal pain? Okay, what you are suffering from? Your face is haggard. Okay, it is so miserable and it is so tired. And the squire's granary is full, and the harvest is done. See, the harvest means the cutting of grains. Okay, that is done. And the squirrel, that is an insect. Okay, so it is a very sharp animal, because it always collects its food prior to the winter, or in eastern countries prior to the rainy season, because it can't go out in the winter season or in the rainy season out and to collect its food. Okay, so what does it do? It always stores the food for all the seasons. Okay, and so the squirrel has been started to, that squirrel already has stored its granary is full, and the harvest is done. And you are being the man, being so educated and so cultured, what's making you to go out and wander from one place to another place? So in the stanza second, the poet repeats the same question. He asks the knight at arms, means the person who always makes or renders his service only for women, why he is so tired and miserable in appearance. In this stanza, he refers to the winter season by telling that the squirrel is done with collecting its grains, and even the harvest is also done. These two symbols, or these two refers to the time of loneliness, coldness, and grief. This is the second stanza. And in the third stanza, the third stanza is the last stanza of the interrogation. Here, the poet stops asking the question and rest all in the 9 stanzas. The knight or the king, he starts answering. The third stanza, I see a lily on thy eyebrow, with anguish moist and fear dew. And now okay, and on thy cheeks a fading rose, fast withered too. Here, the poet or the unknown speaker, he says that your eyebrows are so plain or so pale like the lily flower, like how there is no, despite of being white, there is no additional beauty to the lily flower. So in the same way, your eyebrows are being so pale and plain, that is, it is very, pale like lily flower. And above your eyebrows, okay, you have the anguish moist, moisture, like the dew drops which are there on the leaves. Okay, the dew drops which are there on the leaves soon after the the melting of the cloud or etc. Okay, that is what dew drops. So in the same way, like how the dew drops are there on the leaves, on your forehead you are having a dew drops, which indicates the way of sickness, or which indicates the way of tension. Okay, and you have those dew drops or the moistures. It's a fear dew. Fear dew means a scared dew. Dew is what? Dew drops. Okay, and on thy cheeks a fading rose, fast withered too. Like how the rose starts fading, okay, immediately when you pluck it from the pot, okay, when you pluck the flower from its plant or from its pot, it starts fading in a day. In the same way, your cheeks don't have any extra energy or any extra charms. It is fading as like the rose flower fading. So the poet tells the knight at arms that there is a lily on his eyebrow, that his face is without color and is pale like a lily. There are sweat and pain in his forehead that depicts that he, the knight at arms, is sick. In the final line, the poet says that the color of the knight at arms' face is fading quickly like that of withered rose. Till here, the poet is talking and raising questions to the knight at arms. And the next stanza, from the fourth stanza onwards, the speaker, that is the knight or the king, he starts answering. So what he starts answering, stanza fourth. I met a lady in the meads. Okay. The knight says that I will answer you now. Okay. That I met a lady in the meads. I answer you now that I met a lady in the meads. Meads means midday. Okay. So midday meals we have. So that is what I met a lady in the meads. Meads means midday. In the middle of the day, in the middle of my journey, I met a lady. She was full beautiful. How she was? She was full beautiful, a fairy's child. Okay, if she assumed me like she was a child of a fairy. See, when we were children, we had these fairy tales or the fairy stories, like the stories of Cinderella, okay, or the Sintrok, many other things. Okay, these stories are known for beauties and the speciality of the beautiful women. Okay, so the lady whom I met in the midday, she seemed to me like the child of fairies, and her hair was long. How her hair was? It was very long. Her foot was light. She had a very light foot. So this indicates that she was very light in her weight, slim and beautiful. Okay. So her foot was light and her eyes were wild. Her eyes were wild. So here he says that now after listening to the questions raised by the poet, the knight at arms answers that he met a beautiful lady in the mid-hours, means in the mid of the days. She had a long hair, white and light feet, and a passionate eyes. She seemed to be a fairish child. Fairish child means the beautiful, the child of a beautiful woman. Okay, so fairy child means, as I have told you, that just like Cinderella. So I thought that she is a child of fairies. Fifth stanza. So when I fallen in love with her beauty, okay, so immediately we became closely into the contact. So when we become close to each other, I made a garland for her head and bracelet too, and fragrant zone. See what all he did when he became very close contact to her. He prepared a garland for her head and a bracelet too. And this garland for her head and the bracelet from a beautiful flower that created a fragrant zone. Okay, the fragrance of the flower was very pleasant. That created a fragrant zone. Okay, that created a fragrant atmosphere. And when she was impressed by this fragrance, she looked at me. Means the lady looked at knight as she did love to him. Okay,